we are live. So we just had a really awesome masterclass. It was a huge success. So great job again, Carrie and Courtney. You guys did great.
Thank you.
What was your guys' favorite part?
Oh, wow. All the engagement. People were so engaged. We got so many messages while we were teaching, and that was my favorite. Just the community was my favorite part.
When I think seeing them make those connections, especially when a lot of the comments were that people felt kind of isolated where they were, that they were surprised there were other industry folks that were having difficulty with staffing. And to me, that was just like little aha moments that they're not in it alone. So that was really
Absolutely. That was always huge for me when I went to any type of events or virtuals, just knowing that you're not the only one having the same problems. So, all right, it looks like we have some people joining us now. Welcome, everybody. Can someone please write in the chat that you can hear us? We want to make sure that everything is technically working okay and our sound is working. So when you get a chance, please go ahead and write in the chat hello. Plus, we just want to know and say hello. So I'll go ahead and just tell you guys a little bit about us. We are the Dog Gurus. We help pet care businesses launch, grow, and profit. We are also #1 in pet care staff training resources and the only company with content accredited by PAC, which is Professional Animal Care Council, CPDT, Certified Professional Dog Trainer, and RACE, which is Registry of Approved Continuing Education. So next week, we will not be doing a Facebook Live because of the holiday, but we'll be back on schedule the following week, September 13th, discussing the benefits of cultivating relationships and networking. So we were just actually talking about how great that is, and there's so many benefits of knowing really you're just not alone. So if you're out there, can you please write in the chat that you can hear us and say hello? We'd really appreciate that.
Please.
Yeah. That way we know everything's working and we don't have to start this thing over. So, which I've had to do already once before in the past.
Oh no, we don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
I see people out there. I'm assuming you can hear us. So if you could just write hello, that would be great. So I'll kind of go ahead and get started. Oh, here we go. Elaine, yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now we know we're moving and grooving. Okay. And Terry, she just said hi.
Let me know, I'm here.
All right. Well, you might want to be wondering why there's so many people on the screen right now. And today I'm accompanied by my fellow Profit Network friends and coaches. And we are currently accepting applications for our Profit Network program right now. We've received a ton of interest and a lot of questions about the program and what the coaches are like. So we decided, hey, why don't we all come on a Facebook Live and do a little meet and greet and let everybody get to know each one of us. So I'll really start off. I just want to talk a little bit about my feelings about Profit Network. And look, I genuinely believe in the Profit Network program. I was a former member, and it was the resource that helped me reach my goals of exiting my business and negotiating a multi-million-dollar sale of my business. One of the reasons I believe the Dog Gurus are uniquely qualified is because they really want to help you and they want to give you advice and provide actionable strategies that work. And the way that we know that they work is because we've all been business owners and we've all used them with success. So we really believe in the advice that we offer, and we really want you to succeed. We know how it is to struggle. We don't want you to have to make the same mistakes we made. So we're really passionate about helping others. So I'll go ahead and get started, and we'll start off by going round robin. And all the coaches, why don't you start off by stating your name, the name of your business, where it's located, and how many staff you have or had. Who would like to go first?
Hi, Ed Kazmarek, and I am co-owner of Urban Pooch Canine Life Center, Urban Pooch Training and Fitness Center, and the Urban Pooch Sports Annex in Chicago, Illinois, and we have 63 employees.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
My name is Courtney M.
It is.
I am the former owner of Dog Boys Dog Ranch, which was just outside of Austin, Texas, on 15 beautiful acres. My husband and I had it for 26 plus years, and we had 25 to 30 employees before we closed our business.
Hi, I'm Dawn Hoverson. My pet resort was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so another Texan here. I had it for just shy of 9 years, and I sold end of 2021, and we had about an average of 25 employees.
I think I'm next. I'm in the circle.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Anna Radel, and I am in Maryland, near Baltimore. I have Fieldstone Animal Inn, and I have owned that coming up on 20 years. I have 28 staff members right now. Just like they said, we fluctuate between 25 and 30, depending on the time of year. I think that's it.
Samantha?
My name is Samantha Palia, and I own Absolutely Perfect Pet Styling. We are a grooming facility out of Palos Hills, Illinois. I currently have 12 employees, and we are going into our 23rd year.
Fantastic.
Awesome. I'm Carrie Campbell, and I am in Anchorage, Alaska. I owned Dog Tired Canine Activity Center for 17 years, and we pivoted last year and moved out of our facility and are doing at-home enrichment daycare services. So I still have some employees, but on a smaller scale, which has allowed me to do more with the dog gurus.
Awesome. And I am your host, and I'm also Shantae Marquez. I own Joyful Paws Pet Hotel and Daycare for 10 years in Long Beach, California, and I had an average staff of 25 people. That's just all of us in a nutshell. But next, we'll just get started. And who would like to go first and let us know how you became a part of the Dog Gurus community? How has it helped your business? And what areas of coaching are you passionate about?
You can go first. So we originally joined Profit Network. We went to one of the Dog Gurus conferences and met Susan and Robin and the whole community. And, we were really at the point of we were tired of being frustrated over fluctuating profit. And we wanted to learn all the different levers that we, should be turning to get us to good, solid profitability and to stop doing the things that were not benefiting us. Because we really, I just think there were a lot of things we didn't know. And most importantly, we needed the accountability of a coach each month to help keep us on track. And, it really has been, a magical journey because it helped us with so many changes in our business. Our business just doesn't even resemble what it used to before the Profit Network. And we feel good about being on top of our KPIs, key performance indicators, and knowing each month how we're doing, where we don't have to wait until after the P&L is done. And it really helped us to be more profitable. And COVID had a little impact on that. So, we're now just getting back to the profitability levels of, where we want to be. And, as a coach, I want to help my clients avoid all the pitfalls that I did over the years and help them achieve profitability sooner and carve out time for happiness beyond their business so they're profitable and that they can flourish in abundance. And, I think the Profit Network also helps us to connect with fellow owners so we don't ever feel alone and that we always have a friend to tap into.
So
That's
sweet.
great. Wonderful.
I love it.
Courtney, you want to go next?
Sure. So I joined the Profit Network right after COVID hit. I had known Robin and Susan, or the original founders of the company, for many years, and we all, ran businesses together, and we all kind of knew each other in the industry. But it wasn't until COVID hit and my business tanked, after 25 years, we were actually celebrating our 25th year, and we went down in business by about 80% within 4 days. Any of you who were open during COVID remember that time. It was a very scary time for all of us. And I remember just being online on Facebook and seeing Robin and Susan just talking about, just doing everything they could to try to help businesses stay alive, stay afloat, stay open. And they created this, they had a conference planned that had to be canceled because of COVID. So they created what I knew to be the first online actual conference. And I was so excited to be a part of it. And I just drank every ounce of everything that came out of that conference. And at the end of it, I got so much value out of the time that I spent with them that I wanted more. And I wanted to have my own coach. I wanted access to literally everything that they had. And I was willing to pay for it. I had been in business for a long time. I was willing to invest what it took. And I was like, give me all of it. And that's the best way to get everything that the Dog Gurus has, which my husband will tell you is a master's level of education in pet industry knowledge. So I joined, and it helped so much with the things that we see a lot of businesses suffer with, which is understanding your pricing, making extra money with either packages, add-ons, enrichment, membership, things like that. And just having all your systems in place. But the thing that was so surprising to me that I got that was an added benefit was having my own coach really helped me with a lot of staff management issues that I was having. I had some very talented people that had very different personalities from me, and I needed help communicating with them in a positive way. And I was not having that on my own. So that was a great help. Now, as a coach, now that I've been doing it for a few years now, I really love it. And what I feel like I bring as a coach is financial clarity. So if you have financials or you don't understand them, you don't know what they mean, I can take a look at your financials and make some changes to them so that you better understand your numbers, whether it's through revenue streams or classes. I can help with marketing and customer service. But really, I'm really keen at finding challenges and opportunities within a company. I can walk into any company, but specifically in our industry, and tell you within 15 minutes, 10 things that you need to do different. But I'm also excellent at really getting to the point of what you need to do different. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm just going to shoot straight and tell you what needs to happen. So
is that the Texan in you?
Is that the Texan in me? Probably. I shoot it straight, y'all. That's what I just want to say. So yeah, that's my story. How about you, Dawn?
All right. Well, my journey is a little bit different, but I actually started out as a legacy member with the Dog Gurus. So I joined in 2013. I was one of those that got into the business knowing I wanted to do this as my dream. I had worked with dogs before. But when you add running a business, having staff and everything else to it, you kind of start out going, what did I do? So having the Dog Gurus there to, back me up and prepare me for things that were along the way, everything from how to start your budget to staff training, dog behavior, just, various channels that I used through the Dog Gurus over the years. It was just, invaluable. And I'll back up the COVID thing as well. Everyone else kind of commented on that, but that was also a huge, turning point, I would say, for a lot of people in the industry in many ways, but also just kind of seeing who steps up and helps. And the Dog Gurus did. I mean, I was on those Facebook Lives, every chance I got, just holding on to every word they said. Just, it was such a different time to learn how to run our business and kind of almost regrow our business. After things opened back up. So that was, that was just invaluable. I'll always be very, very thankful that I was a member and got to experience that help during that time as well. As far as me and coaching, after I sold my business in 2021, I didn't want to leave the industry. I had grown up with the Dog Gurus and just, really wanted to continue the journey. And I'm very happy to be here and be coaching. And what I love about it is definitely helping others, being that person that, you can bounce ideas off, that you can, run things past and just kind of get a heads up or not. And also, just being there to show them things outside of their business they may not see because they're very involved in the day-to-day a lot of the times, and being able to look in from the outside in and kind of pose those questions that need to be asked and have them look at their business maybe in a different direction or a different way. And then I would say, as far as focus, I definitely have some experience in buying a pet resort, relocating a pet resort, because we did that during our 9 years, and then selling. So kind of preparing for the exit strategy that you need for your business, always keeping that kind of on the forefront, and things that you can do to kind of help your business grow while you're looking to attain those goals of selling or stepping back and kind of being an owner absentee. So those are things that I'm excited to coach about, and happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. Anna?
Yeah, everything that everyone has said before me. So because those are all such great points. Even, everything. Everyone's journey started differently, which I love hearing. Mine, I was friends. I've been going to industry stuff for years, just like Courtney, and I was friends with the original Dog Gurus. And so I'm a pretty easy sell. They're like, hey, you want to do this? I'm sure. And so I tend to do that and then find out what's later. But happens. But that's also, you got to be, if you're a business owner, you're a little bit impulsive. And if you're not, it's hard to, get you to try new things. And so I trusted them implicitly. So it was obviously more than that. But there are several things I loved and love about the Profit Network program. And that is, first and foremost, is that this is not a program where, like a consultant where they're going to come in and we're going to do everything for you. This is a more sustainable program. So this is teaching you what you need to do to understand business, understand the pet care business, and how to grow and thrive and continue. And so, some consultants come in and they work on those issues you have right then and there, and they don't teach you longevity. And so the things I've learned and established through the Profit Network program, things like budgeting, yeah, we all have budgets, right? Or we thought we did, until I worked with Susan over months. And then I had 3 budgets before COVID hit. And so, it was, I would say, life altering. It was actually. And so I was the first person in my area to get the PPP loan, because immediately, and I think COVID was really what also turned around the Dog Gurus. They jumped in without thinking. They were every single day doing research, every single day helping us all out. What can we do? What do we need to do? They would, so it was amazing. And I went to my bank with my package immediately. I already had my budget established. I already had projections established, and I was able to just give those things to them. And I still do. And it's been many years later. And so I think that the longevity piece, again, teaching you, it's like that, if you teach someone to fish versus just giving them a fish, right? And so I think that's the big difference with the Profit Network. They don't come in and tell you, okay, you're going to be this kind of business, right? And so, you're going to be, a Hilton or this or that. It's not like that at all. Really, they embrace your differences and what makes you tick and what you love, and help you to embrace that and to really grow from there. So there's no pressure to change your business model to be like others. It really isn't. It's really fundamentals of business. And most people in our industry, we came in because we loved animals, right? And so we have no business experience. And so that's the piece that I love the most. I would say that the people who do join share the same and similar values, and that's huge. So we all kind of come into it and we have a similar idea of how we want to provide customer service, what type of care we're providing for the dogs. And so there's not any conflict in that, because if you've joined this program, you're adhering to a code of ethics. And so we are all starting from that similar place, which is fundamental. Again, I'm trying to think of what else. The co-work, the do-work, the shared values, individualized. Yeah, I think that those are the big things. And I always talk about how many budgets I had and still do. I always have like these different versions. And what I love is about being a coach is that I get to share that. And so I get to share that it's not impossible. It's not, people love to say, I'm not a numbers person. Yes, you are. You can do it. Math is everywhere, every day. And it's not that complicated. We can show you how to do it in a reasonable amount of time, how to incorporate that into your routine, and looking at your budgets before you make decisions, which I never did before. And so that was, it's huge. And so that's my favorite part of when we meet with others, is that when we're able to share and show something to them, they're like, oh, I didn't know to do that. Or, oh, that's a lot easier than I thought. And so I love that part of it. I also, like Ed, want to stop I want to prevent people from having to go through some of the pains that I had to go through, when I started in the years. I mean, of course, we're all going to have different things, but if you can learn from our experiences and jump a few steps ahead, it's just so much better for you, and so we've learned over the years through trial and error, and there was nothing like this before Dog Guru started. Nothing this comprehensive, nothing like this to teach you. It's an education program. It is not a consulting program. And I think that's a huge thing that we always have to share. I also have to say that I love that I had a smaller business and did have a smaller business. And it didn't matter that I didn't have, the fancy, awesome, amazing facility that some people did. We're all business owners and we embrace that and we learn how to work with from that. And so now I've got some of that and I'm super excited. And that happened a lot because of the Dog Gurus giving me the confidence. So I can go on and on and on. And from both sides of it, I love being a coach and I love the camaraderie and the networking that we get from being part of the program.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks, Anna. Samantha? Samantha, you want to go?
Maybe she can't hear.
She's frozen
blurry on my screen.
Oh, she might be frozen. Okay, Carrie, why don't you go?
All right. Well,
Yes. Hi, I'm Samantha once again. And yeah.
Go
You're
ahead.
good.
You're good. Go for it. She might
Me or Carrie?
You, Samantha.
You.
Oh, okay. I thought because I heard you ask Carrie. Sorry about that. So I'm Samantha, and where I'm a little different is I'm the one that has the dog grooming business. So I don't have a pet daycare or boarding. And I saw Robin and Susan in a conference in 2018. And where my experience is a little different is my education came a lot from learning proper haircuts. And so even though I knew that I gave a great experience for the pet in the grooming portion, I really lacked the business knowledge. So after seeing Robin and Susan at the conference, and I went over and joined them in their conference, I started following them on Facebook. I started going on their challenges. And what they did for me is they made me not a groomer that owned a business anymore. They developed me into an entrepreneur. And they changed the way I did my whole business. And at that time, when I was looking for something, there was really things lacking in the grooming portion of the pet care industry. And I found it in the dog gurus. And since then, I have really flourished my business and I run it more efficiently. And I have my coach Shantae, and it's really great having her in order to talk to, or if I need different perspectives, if I need ideas, or even just confirmation on things. It's really nice having a coach to have somebody in that support. And then you also have your masterminds, which is great because you get to talk amongst your peers. You get a lot of the educational opportunities that you may not get if you're on your own and you don't know where to find them. So they really deliver a full package for you.
Awesome.
Yeah. So my story's a little different. Like Samantha, I had a service business that was one revenue stream, and that was dog daycare. And we had started out as a traditional daycare, and I met Robin and Susan in 2014 and just kind of followed a lot of what they were doing, mainly because I found myself in the position that in my community, there were no standards and there was no one really wanting to create standards. So I tried to be effective from a legislative standpoint, getting involved with the city, with our city shelter that kind of runs the governing of the municipal title over pet care facilities. And I was just frustrated because I wasn't able to make effective change. And the more I talked to Robin and Susan, the more I found a platform, if you will, through them to start talking about what I was so passionate about and how I could help people. So when same with Anna in 2018, when they decided to do their first live kind of introduction of the Profit Network, I flew to Colorado and I went to that event, and it was life-changing because for the first time I could now work with them on a regular basis to not only increase my exposure for the type of daycare services we were providing, but also really solidify everything that I needed to on my business side so that my finances and that my key performance indicators and my staffing and all of my foundation was in place, that I could look at what was the next step for me. At the end of that 2-day conference that we had, I actually had my first conversation with them about becoming a coach. And it was something for me that was very enticing, but I also wanted to know a little bit more about what the Profit Network program was going to look like. So I became a member of it. And then about 6-7 months in, they invited me again to be a coach. And then I took that opportunity. So I was one of the inaugural kind of coaching class. And it was really, really fun to see them work from the inside. And what people don't know is just how passionate they are about this industry and seeing small businesses succeed. And they will often say, everyone here has kind of commented about what going through the pandemic was like and how much information they provided, but they often use the phrase that they're building the plane while they are flying it. And that is so true because they pivoted so quickly and they offered so much information. I am certain that the reason why many businesses survived the pandemic was because of the dog gurus. And watching that passion firsthand from the inside was just amazing. And it was very inspiring for me to want to do more as a coach. So for the standpoint of what I learned as far as the ability to coach other people and taking the techniques they taught me to use in my own business, it was very rewarding to see others be able to benefit from the same program. And also, I think everyone else has commented about, do as I say, not as I did, because we have made mistakes in our own businesses and we learned from them. And if we can help you not make those same mistakes, wonderful. That's what we like to do, is to really help you launch, grow, profit your own business, but also do so without having to overcome some of the hurdles that we did. It's like 5 years now that I've been coaching and I've had many clients. Shantae was one of my clients. And it's just such a joy to see their passions come to fruition. And in Shantae's case, be able to sell her business. And now she's working with me as an employee for the Dog Gurus. And, all of that is it's just a testament to what Robin and Susan built, and to see now where we are in our new phase and where we're going. I just think that it's a community that has a lot to offer pet care business owners.
Yeah. And I guess I'll tell a little bit more about my story too. I gave a little intro earlier, but I first learned about the Dog Gurus at a pet boarding and daycare expo in Burbank. And I bought the Knowing Dogs program at that trade show. And I had the CDs, or no, the DVDs. So that's how long I've had those. But I always kept my eye out on them. And, I became a member through the library, but COVID happened, of course, and we all talked about that impact, but they really did help me as well. I was a mess, I was very distraught. I didn't know if my business was going to be able to survive because, like Courtney said, in a matter of days, I went to zero. And watching and listening to those Facebook Lives that they were giving, they were talking about how, turn this around into an opportunity to improve your business. Turn it around to refine your systems, take the time, all those things that have been on the back burner that you haven't been able to get to, now's the time to do them. And you know what? I did. And so basically I was like, okay, I'm sitting here all day long at the front desk with only one dog, in the back by myself. And I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to work on making my operations better, refining my systems, tightening up my policies and procedures and employee handbook. But once they switched my mindset about it, I knew these were the people that I needed to continue to go to and work with. So that's when I became a Profit Network member. And, I left 2020. Every month I was losing money, and I left 2020 with $80,000 in the hole. Basically, everything I owned was put into that business. And that was really, really scary. But if I didn't have the support of the Dog Gurus and what they taught me with my finances and how to really develop a leadership team and the operation side of it, I don't know if I'd be here today, but I was able to come back the following year in 2021 and have the largest grossing year ever in history for my business, which was over 7 figures. So it was phenomenal. And I just can't say enough good things about them. I mean, I really do owe a lot to them. The other thing that I would say, what I'm passionate about is I love to see people succeed. It makes me happy. It makes me feel good. It makes me, give a bigger purpose. But I also love helping people develop a sales side of their business. So developing the reservation specialist component to their business and helping people write scripts and just really having them understand the sales cycle and what the process is with that. So that's one of the things that I feel is my specialty. And also, again, like if you want to become an absentee owner or get your business ready to exit, those are things that I'm familiar with too. So yeah, I guess that's it. But
That's great. I love it.
yeah. Anything else that you guys want to add to this conversation?
I do real quick. I think one thing we're saying, but I summarize it is we don't have coworkers when you're an owner. So you might have this great manager, but when push comes to shove, it's all on you. And that's for sure what COVID taught us. But we could talk to each other, we could share, and with people who genuinely were in the same place, who genuinely understood what was at stake, who had the responsibility of paying people so that they could feed their families. So I think that is one of the biggest things that I've taken away from the entire program is that it's not just networking, it's people who are just like you, who are facing the same kinds of challenges and have worked through them already or are going to work through them. And I wanted to add one thing because, we know that's among the group that I didn't know about the education credit thing that everyone was talking about. They're getting so much money back, if your business lost so much money. And I asked my accountant, well, why didn't I get that? And he said, because you doubled your revenue that year. And I was like, oh, that's right. Yeah. And so we lost money, but my stuff was in place and good. And we bounced back quickly and we had the best years. 2020, 2021 were pretty big years for us.
That's great.
21. Yeah.
Shanti, just to note one thing from the training perspective that we do for our coaches is that even though we all have different areas of expertise based on the services that our businesses provide, we all go through the same coaching. So from the foundation or the same training, from the foundation of what we know about all around and staffing and standard operating procedures, we all have that same training. So from a business perspective, we are all sharp entrepreneurs that can handle and coach on all the different aspects of what it takes to be a business owner. And I think that's really unique because not only do we have that foundation, but then we have that element of understanding what the pet care industry is all about and how it is a different clientele and people, we are selling a service, but we're not selling a massage or a hairstyle. We're selling something that is a service to a living being that is in many cases a very important part of a family. And that does make our industry unique. So being able to hold all those elements and coach on all of those elements, I think it makes us a much more unique coaching program than any other thing that's out there right now in the industry.
Yeah. I really love that we all help each other too. So if someone else has an expertise that we don't, like Anna has reservation specialists that she uses currently, and I have a client who's interested in that. So I can reach out to Anna and they can talk to each other. My client and Anna as a coach can have a conversation so that she can fill in the blanks of anything that I don't already have in my tool belt. So I love the community within us that we can lean on each other for our different levels of expertise.
Yeah. And I'll add, I don't think there is anything that anyone out there would ever go through that we have not collectively already been through, solved, and come up on the other end into sunshine. Because I know even when we go through something now, I just talked to Shantae yesterday because I was going through something. And I said, you know what? I feel like just running away. And she made me feel better because it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it or how successful you are. We're human beings and we still go through things and like we have down days or we have challenges. And, I know that there's no challenge that we cannot collectively solve, and we end up being so much smarter on the other end. And then if the challenge ever comes around again, you're like, oh, okay, we just do this and it's solved. And it really is like magic sauce. And, it just makes you feel a heck of a lot better when you have friends that can lift you up and help you get through absolutely anything your business could come across.
Absolutely.
Good.
If anybody hasn't caught on, Ed is like the super positive, awesome teammate.
We love you, Ed.
Yes, a ray of sunshine.
Abundance, please.
But our
Abundance
is like that. Think about it. All of us are that way. We are all very optimistic, very positive. We always approach these things together. We can laugh at them ourselves, but we definitely all have that in common also, is that we want to succeed. We want to see everyone succeed. We love working together, and we're really positive, and we know we can get each other through these things. And so not every business owner I've met is like that, but definitely the people involved in this program are.
I used to say to my staff all the time that we take our jobs very seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously at all. And I think that's so true of all of us. We like to have a good time. We have a lot of really great camaraderie, and we support each other and lift each other up. But that is such a wonderful place to be, as well as being able to train people on the side of our jobs. It's important as far as working with clients and helping them get through difficult times and helping them celebrate all the successes as well. I think that's really important to make sure that we're recognizing both sides of what can happen as a business owner.
And we're so in sync with one another that none of us planned it, and we all wear blue.
That's right.
And I was going to wear orange, and I ended up wearing blue.
Yeah. The universe is giving us a sign. Does anybody out there have a question for either, all of us or one of us as a coach?
Yeah, shoot them out there.
Any questions that you may have.
We're happy to answer them. Yeah. I love that each of our clients is so different, and they all bring different perspectives from business owners. Like, some are really good with numbers, and some are really good with technology, and some are terrified of technology, and some are really good with animals and understand behavior. Like, I'm fascinated by everyone's different talents in the, as far as the people that are part of the Profit Network. It's been really fun working with everyone.
And I just want to let everyone know, if you're intimidated because you think that maybe you don't feel confident, I got it. And I've shared this story many times. I was really bad at things like Google search, advertising, marketing, budgets, like you name it. I knew how to groom dogs. That was my strength. And through the dog gurus practices and learning and their trainings, I am not only a coach, I also speak about things in order to help the pet care industry. So if you're don't let your fear or intimidation stop you from joining a program if it's something you think you're meant to do.
Absolutely.
We really are. We really want to help you get to the next level of where you want to be, because all of us are at some place, and all of us have this vision of where we want to be. And our job as coaches is to help you get there.
I think also a lot of times, we've been doing this for some of us for quite some time. You might be in year 5, 6, 7 of your business, and you think, I've got it all figured out. Everything's going smooth, but kind of like, what's next? Also, what are some new things I can implement in my business? How can I grow, be different from my competitors? And just having that person that's kind of been there and been through it, and all of us have, and just kind of having some great ideas to help you grow new revenue generators and new things that evolve in our industry over time.
And no matter how long, to jump off of that, no matter how long you've been here, there are always new things to learn. And that is part of the exciting thing that we all love, is that learning continuously helps you to evolve, and it always makes you better. And, we learn so much from even our clients. And, when you're in the Profit Network, we do this wonderful thing every month called a mastermind. where people share their wins and their asks, and we all learn from each other. And, you know, every month is different, and there's always a whole bunch of different topics discussed. And, you know, it really ends up being what's most relevant, you know, to everyone. And it just, you know, it's another part of the magic sauce, you know, as well, because it, you know, we're always evolving, and that's how we keep our business fresh and continuously achieving, you know, that profitability that we're all seeking.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
And you're going to find lifelong friendships.
Yeah.
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 To that culture that we have in those masterminds, Ed, what has always been rewarding for me is to see if somebody brings an ask because they're trying to start a new program or they want to do something different in how they're onboarding their staff, and they say, hey, does somebody, you know, have you done this before? Does anybody have a job description that I can look at? And the willingness to share among the clients in Profit Network is so open, and that information is shared so freely that you don't necessarily have to recreate the wheel at your end because someone's willing to share a document or a procedure that's worked really well in their business. So from that aspect, just that community and that support from one another, as well as from the coaches, is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's that abundance mentality, right? That we're all here for each other,
Yeah.
and we're all here to share. And there's plenty of business out there. You know, I mean, we're not going to be taking from each other. So
No, there's enough dogs for all of us.
Yes, indeed.
And from an application standpoint, we are very cognizant of who we select for the program so that we're not getting somebody who is the competition right down the street from you, because we don't want a member to feel as though, you know, they are basically sharing secrets with somebody who's a competitor. So we do take that into account when we go through the application process.
yeah, and I guess I'll jump in and just let people know it is an application process to join. It is limited space available, and we actually only have a couple spots left still. So if this is something that you're interested in, it sounds like it's a good program for you, you can go ahead and apply through the link that I provided. We are going to be closing the application process down soon, but there's still time to apply, so go ahead. And unless anybody else has anything to say, I'll wrap this up. What do you guys think?
Great. Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, this has been
Yeah.
fun.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having
well,
us.
thank you, coaches, for being available, friends and coaches. It was great for us to be together again.
It was.
It's always a good time. Lastly, I'll say if you are not a member of our Facebook group, Grow Your Pet Care Business, I invite you to join. We only have 2 rules: be nice and no selling. And I'll go ahead and add that to the screen here. Yeah, it's a great place to just learn from others and make some networking friends and just get some advice. So that about does it for us. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.